Hello and welcome back to Proactive New York. With me right now is Gerald Commissiong, CEO at Todos Medical. Gerald, good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. Gerald, today we're talking about how the company has started its randomized double-blind placebo-controlled phase 2 clinical trial of an antiviral called Tollovir to treat coronavirus patients. Can you first tell me a bit about Tollovir and how it works?
Sure. So Tollovir is a proprietary blend of plant extracts that we've formulated into a pill format. So it's a pill. And the way it acts is it inhibits a protease called the 3CL protease that is very important for a specific subclass of coronaviruses. What it does is it basically stops the virus from being able to, once it replicates the RNA, from being able to separate, and then also inhibits separated RNA after it's been multiplied to be able to exit the cell. So by stopping it from, basically dividing and then stopping it from exiting the cell, you basically limit its ability to go and impact other cells in the area.
So is this mostly to treat severe coronavirus patients?
No, actually, it can absolutely treat severe coronavirus patients. The concept of this is that it treats the underlying initiation of the viral process. So, once a cytokine storm is triggered and it gets more severe, that's not really what this product impacts. What it impacts is the actual ability of the virus to replicate. So, imagine, you get first diagnosed, you're getting diagnosed because the virus has replicated a lot in your body already, and you have a high quantity of it, and it's picked up in a swab. Whether that's asymptomatic or symptomatic, what's most characteristic of this coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, is that there's a lot of replication very, very early on in the disease process. So that is the time when there's the biggest risk that things can get out of control. By taking this product, it will potentially dramatically reduce the virus's ability to further replicate. And by reducing its ability to further replicate, it's not going to be able to go and spread throughout different parts of the body that can ultimately become problematic and trigger that cytokine storm.
So you are going through this phase through in a joint venture with a group called NLC Pharma. Can you tell us a bit about them?
Sure. So NLC Pharma is a biopharmaceutical company based in Israel. They've been working on this coronavirus research for 25 plus years, starting with the common cold. And we got involved with them initially because of the biomarker around the 3CL protease diagnostic that we've been developing. As we learned, looked at the data we were gathering and understood, how it really was potentially a better proxy for viral load than CT and PCR, we started to understand that, look, if you can slow this part down, you basically cut the virus off at the knees. And if you cut it off at the knees, then it's not going to have the ability to go and trip the wires that cause the cytokine storm. Or, in later stage patients that are already hospitalized, who we're treating now, it'll stop it from re-tripping those wires and recreating additional problems down the line, so that the body can have a better chance of healing without the continual attack from the underlying virus. So, that's really how it works, and, how we think it's going to impact the treatment of coronavirus patients.
So how does your Tolo test assay fit in here?
Well, the Tolo test assay fits in by measuring the 3CL protease. So, what we've seen in the data that we've generated so far out of Israel is very clear. The lower the CT, which means the lower the number of cycle times needed to get to a PCR result, that's because you have more virus. So you need to amplify less. That's the way, it works. Our measure is more direct. We don't have to amplify the virus to test and identify the amount of 3CL protease. We're measuring 3CL protease directly. And because we're measuring it directly, we think it's a better proxy for viral load. So if, what you want to see, obviously, is you want to see less and less 3CL protease, because that means the virus is going to be less and less able to replicate. And so that's where this TOLA test comes in. We think it's going to be something that you really want to monitor as someone, is progressing with COVID-19. The less, 3-cell protease they have, it means the less that they're at risk of, viral activity. And if you see it spike again for whatever reason, that's something that, is probably a predictor of other things going on because your body's not able to overcome the attack by the virus. So it's something you want to measure as a leading indicator for downstream events.
And so because this is a double-blind phase 2 study, we won't know safety data until it's finished. Is that right? And what is the timeline to get that done?
Yeah, so in terms of safety, the good thing about this compound is, it's already, the underlying compound, the active ingredient's already approved for sale in the United States because, it's out of a plant extract. So we have a high degree of confidence in the safety profile because, it's been used for different things on, thousands of patients already. The key here is the formulation in COVID-19 patients. And the data so far that we've seen is we have not seen, significant adverse events as it relates to the use of the product. So we're really much more focused on the efficacy component of it. We think that there's a very low risk on the safety side.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing the results here. Gerald, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.